Hi kids, it's Miss Stacy. Today in this video I want to talk to you about states of matter, which is a terminology that scientists use to talk about the way things in our world can be. They can be solid, liquid, or gas. Water is a type of matter that it's easy to demonstrate the states of matter with. Part 1. Solid. Solid is hard. It may be cold and it may be dry. Solid has a shape, which is why we might call this an ice cube. It has its own shape. A while ago, I made popsicles. I made juice into a solid. The popsicles are frozen. Let's check it out. That juice got super hard. It's like ice, but juice. Popsicle! Part 2. Liquid. Liquid is sloshy and pory and wet. Water. It doesn't have its own shape, but it takes on the shape of the container it's in. Like in this glass. It's got that round bottom. Or in this dish, it's wide. So these glass containers have a shape, but the water itself doesn't have a shape. A few weeks ago, I went to the beach. Let's see if we can see what's in the water. I'm seeing small amount. Oh, do you see the small amounts of water running through the sand? It's coming from back there and running down this way. There it goes, running into the ocean this way. And there's the ocean waves lapping up on the shore. Last week I washed my car. Here, I'll show you the bubbles. That's a lot of bubbles. Part 3. Gas. Gas is usually invisible. It's a different meaning of the word from the gas that we put in our cars. That word is short for gasoline. That's a different thing. In fact, gasoline is a liquid. So, the gas that is a state of matter is something different. The air we breathe is a gas. It fills our lungs. Gaseous water is called water vapor or steam. Whoa, look at the steam curling up out of my kettle. I boiled this water, so it's very hot. There goes the gaseous water coming up off of the liquid water, because the liquid water is so hot that it's turning into gas. A liquid can change into a gas fast, like when I use my stove, I added a lot of heat fast, so it only took a couple minutes. Or it can happen slow, like when I leave something out to dry. Like behind me, I have this drying rack that's full of some dishes. I washed my dishes and I set them in the drying rack, and the drips of water from the washing are going to drip off. That's one way that it helps them dry. But also, some of the water from their surface is just going into the air and becoming part of the water vapor in the air. Also, I let Honda Lima dry itself off in the heat after I washed it. Wet. I'm not going to bother to dry off Honda Lima because it's a nice warm day and the water will evaporate. Or what about if you give a moose a muffin, moose washed the sheet that he made a mess. He'll probably want to hang up the sheet to dry. So he washed that sheet. It was very wet. And then he wanted to hang it up to dry. Now, he got distracted before he could do that. That happens all the way through that book. But he wanted to hang it up on a clothesline to dry. And that would have been air drying. Part 4, States Combined. Different states of matter can be mixed together, like when you put ice in your water. You've got ice water, and some of that water is solid, the ice cubes, and some of it is liquid, the rest of it. Do you kids remember the time I made ice cream? Look at my bag of ice. It's very watery. A liquid can be full of bubbles of gas. Check it out. Those bubbles are gas. All bubbles have gas inside them. What about mud? Mud is sand or dirt mixed with water. Sand or dirt is solid. It's tiny particles of rocks and stuff. And the water is a liquid, and they're mixed together. It makes something that is liquidy, but it's got solid stuff in there. It could have so much water that it's like muddy water, or it could have so much sand that it's just like wet sand. What state of matter is glue? Inside the bottle, it's a certain thing. What about on the paper? What about if you put it on paper in an art project or something, and then the next day, what state of matter is that glue now? There's a lot to think about. Hope you enjoyed this video, kids.